What would you do if you were stranded in the middle of the ocean, completely alone, fighting for both your life and the life of your unborn child? This is a story of unimaginable isolation, survival, and the strength of a mother's love. Get ready to relive this emotional and gripping tale of resilience and hope. The story begins in the middle of chaos. Mia, a pregnant woman, and Nico, her husband, are caught in the horrors of a war-torn region of Spain. Desperate to protect her unborn child, they board a cargo ship filled with refugees leaving for Ireland, clinging to the hope that she might find safety and a better future for her baby. Trapped in a cramped, suffocating shipping container, Mia and Nico are among many desperate people seeking refuge. The conditions are dire, but they remain hopeful and determined to find a sanctuary where their baby can grow up safely. Suddenly, the container doors open and chaos erupts as a crowd of people rushes in. In the commotion, Mia and Nico are separated. Nico is forced into a different container, and Mia, peering through a small hole, watches helplessly as he boards another container. She calls out to him, panic setting in as she worries about their separation and whether they will be taken to the same destination. The container truck is soon stopped at a military checkpoint where soldiers question the driver. Growing suspicious, they search the truck and notice that 2/3 of it is empty. Realizing that people may be hiding in the remaining space, they demand those inside to come out, promising they won't harm anyone. The soldiers attempt to appear kind, reassuring those inside that they mean no harm. Once the container doors are opened, however, the soldiers betray their promise and mercilessly kill everyone. Amid the chaos, Mia manages to save herself by climbing on top of a wooden box, staying out of sight. Alone and shaken, she hears the commotion fade as the soldiers finish their brutal task. In the next scene, Mia's container is seen being loaded onto a ship, marking the beginning of her isolated and dangerous journey across the sea. She sends a voice note to Nico, informing him about her location and hoping for a chance to reunite. However, fate takes a cruel turn. A violent storm engulfs the cargo ship in the middle of the ocean, with towering waves and ferocious winds relentlessly battering the vessel. Suddenly, Mia's container is ripped free and tossed into the sea as the ship begins to capsize. When Mia regains consciousness, she finds herself trapped inside the damaged shipping container, floating aimlessly in the middle of the ocean. As she takes in her surroundings, fear grips her. There is no sign of the cargo ship, no land on the horizon, and no one to come to her aid. The vast, endless water stretches in every direction, amplifying her isolation. Desperately searching for a way to survive, Mia discovers a few supplies scattered around the container, but they are barely enough to last more than a day. Mia peers through a small hole in the container and sees another container sinking into the ocean. She can hear the desperate screams of people trapped inside, their voices fading as the container disappears beneath the waves. She repeatedly tries to call Nico, but each attempt goes straight to voicemail. In this moment of despair, she feels a small kick from her unborn baby, a reassuring sign that her child is still alive. The realization gives her a renewed sense of purpose. Determined to survive, Mia manages to open the wooden boxes inside the container. Among the scattered items, she finds a pipe, which she uses to siphon out the rising water and throw it overboard. Despite her efforts, her cell phone still fails to get a signal, leaving her isolated. Undeterred, she gathers every resource available, from scraps of material to leftover supplies, anything that could aid in her survival. Suddenly, her phone rings. It's Nico. Overcome with emotion, she answers, and Nico, desperate to help, asks her for any details that could lead to her rescue. His voice offers a glimmer of hope as he urges her to stay alive, assuring her that help is on the way before the call disconnects. However, Mia's ordeal worsens as a heavy storm hits the ocean. The container shakes violently, water seeps in again, and chaos erupts around her. Amid this turmoil, Mia goes into labor. Battling the storm, exhaustion, and immense pain, she fights to bring her child into the world. Against all odds, she gives birth to her baby. In a moment of relief and triumph, she holds her child, both of them surviving the life-threatening ordeal. It's a heart-wrenching yet hopeful moment, showing the unbreakable bond between a mother and her child. Mia's desperation to escape grows as she tries to drill through the upper part of the container, hoping to create an opening. However, her efforts are in vain when the drilling machine abruptly stops working. Exhausted but determined, she does everything in her power to keep herself and her newborn alive. One of the most harrowing moments comes when a shark begins circling the container. She fights back against impossible odds, using whatever she can to deter the shark and secure their fragile sanctuary. Refusing to give up, Mia tries again to cut through the roof of the container, but fails once more. Exhausted and emotionally drained, she collapses and begins to hallucinate. In her mind, she sees her firstborn daughter, Yume, who was taken away by the military during a raid while they were fleeing their war-torn home. With renewed determination, Mia improvises ways to collect rainwater to stay hydrated and stretches her meager food supply as far as possible. She attempts to cut through the roof once again, and this time, she succeeds. As she climbs to the top of the container, she is met with a disheartening sight, an endless expanse of ocean with no land in sight. Her spirits momentarily lift when she spots an airplane in the distance. She uses a mirror to reflect sunlight and create a signal, desperately trying to attract the pilot's attention. However, in the process, she injures herself, and her efforts go unnoticed as the plane flies away. The crushing realization of her isolation sets in, but Mia's fight for survival continues, driven by her unwavering determination to protect her baby. By day 9, Mia has adapted to her harsh environment, managing to catch fish and gather enough food to keep herself and her baby alive. She continues to tirelessly remove any water that seeps into the container, fighting to maintain a safe space for them. Each day, Mia climbs outside and sits atop the container, staring out at the endless horizon, clinging to the hope that rescue will come. She talks to her newborn baby, creating small conversations as a way to stay connected to reality and keep herself from succumbing to despair. The nights are hauntingly beautiful, yet eerie. Under the glow of the full moon, the container drifts aimlessly on the vast, dark ocean. The scene is chilling and mesmerizing, emphasizing both Mia's isolation and her fragile hope. One night, as she holds her baby on top of the container, her phone unexpectedly rings. It's Nico. Overwhelmed with relief and anticipation, Mia answers, only to hear Nico's heartbreaking news. He informs her that he won't be able to rescue her. He has been found by soldiers and shot while trying to find help. The moment is heart-wrenching as Nico, with his last breaths, speaks tenderly to their newborn daughter, whom he'll never meet in person. As the phone disconnects, Mia breaks down in tears, fully grasping the weight of her loss. The man she loved and the father of her child is gone forever. The scene is raw and emotional, underscoring the depth of Mia's struggle as she faces an uncertain future alone. As the water level inside the container continues to rise, Mia realizes she can no longer stay below and decides to remain on top of the container. One day, she spots a seagull flying overhead, filling her with renewed hope that land might be nearby. However, her hope is short-lived. The container takes on more water, causing it to sink rapidly. Panicked, Mia climbs down to inspect the damage and finds herself momentarily trapped as the container begins to submerge completely. In a desperate struggle, she manages to escape and pull herself to the surface just as the container sinks beneath the waves. To her horror, she sees her baby Noah floating away on the makeshift raft she had created. Fueled by fear and determination, Mia swims through the chaotic waves, calling out to her daughter. Summoning every ounce of strength, Mia reaches Noah just in time and pulls her close, holding her tightly as relief washes over her. Now stranded with no life support, Mia and Noah are left floating in the middle of the vast ocean, surrounded by nothing but endless water. Exhausted but unwavering, Mia clings to her baby and speaks to her softly, reassuring her that they will make it through. Just when it seems that Mia and Noah's survival is impossible, a flock of seagulls begins circling above them, catches the attention of a nearby fishing boat. A couple aboard the boat notices the commotion and quickly steers toward the drifting pair. As the boat approaches, the fishermen act swiftly, pulling Noah to safety first. The rescuers then turn their attention to Mia, who appears unconscious and lifeless as they lift her onto the boat. After several heart-pounding moments, Mia finally gasps for air, coughing and regaining consciousness. Relief washes over everyone as she immediately reaches for her daughter. The final scenes show Mia holding her newborn child, gazing out at the ocean as the ship approaches land. Though battered by her journey, she has survived and secured a future for her child. If Mia's story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible story recaps. Share your favorite moment from this inspirational survival story in the comments.